Good morning, Glenwood families. This is Principal Capshore with our morning assembly for January 25th, 2020. So welcome to the 20th week of school. We're also in our second semester and continue in this brave new world of distance learning. Hold your hats. We might be here for a few more months, according to Superintendent Buettner. But I want to let you know, as I visit your Zoom classes, I am always impressed by your engagement and participation with your teachers. We are learning so much in these circumstances, and you do a great job of listening to learn. So you know what's left next.
Put your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
And let's sing the Star Spangled Banner again today.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we marched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red flame, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was to Sailors and stars and moon and brilliant
Okay, so for our announcements, I want all our parents to know that we have created a parent support group called Families Bonding Together. It's an opportunity for moms on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 to go on and to just be able to talk and meet with other moms and maybe problem solve and share some ideas that you have. Don't forget, Wednesday is College Day and Friday is Spirit Day. But we're hoping that our parents will take advantage of our parent support group. So our character trait for this week is leadership. What is leaders? You could be one of the great leaders such as Winston Churchill, pictured at the left, Martin Luther King Jr., or Abe Lincoln, or you can be a great leader if you are even small. You just start developing these leadership qualities early. What is a great leader? What makes a good leader? Curiosity is thinking outside the box. To keep exploring and asking questions. To take risks and follow your intuition. Having zest and confidence, even if something goes wrong. To have courage and try again in a different way. You have grit, being confident and passionate. If you believe, trust, and persevere, you can get through. Leaders have self-control and are open to new ideas and are able to delegate. You're also optimistic and have a good sense of humor, have a positive attitude as well. And you're grateful for the things that you have and the things that you've done. So you work together and you have social intelligence and you learn how to communicate. You learn how to inspire others to take action. Everyone can be a leader if you're given support and the right tools. Leadership is all about teamwork, motivation, competency, support, communication, responsibility, communicating, having integrity, which we talked about last week, having a good work ethic, which means that you do your work, whatever it happens to be around the house or your homework, and being humble and willing to learn. So here is the story about Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Think about leaders who problem solve.
Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost. And he set off on his path, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across the field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon shook. Suddenly he realized what was happening, but by then Harold was over his head in an ocean. He came up thinking fast, and in no time he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he had sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie, but there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired, and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped. And there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon, big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows. He made a big building full of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then suddenly, Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed. He got in it and he drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped on the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep.
Okay, so Harold
Thanks
and
for
the
watching Hearts
purple
and Heroes.
crayon.
Like and subscribe.
Who did Harold have with him all the time? He seemed to have that purple crayon. And who else was in there to support him? So Harold is a 4-year-old boy, and he has a wonderful imagination. Do you think leaders should have an imagination? He used a purple crayon to create his own world by drawing it into being. So he had an imagination. And he had tools to help him, didn't he? He draws the moon so he can take a walk in the moonlight. He draws an apple tree and then a dragon, and finally a house and a bed so he can go to sleep. So Harold and the purple crayon's lesson for leaders is simple. Establish a vision of the outcomes you want to see in the world, and then start working on it. Okay, so think about leaders. Here's the quote of the week. Great leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role or the job. It's always about the goal and what you want to achieve. So I'd like you to help us create a word cloud by going to this bit.ly Leader Cloud 1, and you'll see Answer Garden, and you'll see a question that says, describe the qualities of a leader, and you can type in your answer here. You can add as many as you want to, and then I'll show you your Leader Cloud next week. You all did a great job on the qualities and advice for President Biden. So thank you for that. I did post something on our Twitter page and our Facebook page, so you can go to that and see the first page of that. So thank you so much. You might have fun doing a word cloud, I mean. Okay, so now it's time for some mindful breathing. And now you should be all focused and ready for your studies. So be sure to have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see you in your Zoom classes. Bye.